What's up, you beautiful collectors and action figure fans? It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers The Last Knight Voyager class Decepticon Nitro. For the package, you got that really nice Transformers text along the side, as well as the Last Knight logo there on the bottom. You can see that he's part of the Premier Edition, and you have a really cool image of Nitro there in the front. The front package has an open window that fully showcases the figure, and then when you come around to the side, you can see that he's listed as a Voyager class. And then on the opposite side, you get a more expanded image of Nitro, and it says he's a lethal hunter. And that's it. On the back of the box, you got images of both his robot as well as his jet mode that he transforms in 35 steps, and then an image of the other Voyager figure in this wave, that being the Voyager class Scorn. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Decepticon Nitro opened up and out of its packaging, or as he was called in the movie, Nitro Zeus. Why they don't call him that here, I have no idea. But as you can see, he's some kind of a jet, which is what he was in the film. I don't necessarily remember what kind of jet he was in the movie, but obviously the toy's a jet, so it works. From the top, though, you can see it looks really very nice, very plain, which Nitro Zeus definitely wasn't in the movie. There was a lot of color to him. So I am hoping that eventually we do get like maybe a Takara repaint that has a lot of that kind of color thrown back into him. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It definitely looks a lot more like a real jet, but the character of Nitro Zeus had a lot of personality, and that was definitely reflected in his look. So it would be kind of cool to see. When you do get to the side, it does get a little bit clunky, and then the bottom is just a mess of robot stuff. In general, though, I do like it. I think it turned out fairly decently. As you can see, he does have a little bit of a landing gear thing that can fold up. These little back sections right here kind of replicate wheels. You see they just kind of sit down here. They don't actually roll or anything, but you do have that. You come around, you got like a little thruster kind of thing here. He's got little like thrusters down here. So it's like, I wonder if this is one of those like vertical takeoff planes. I'm not 100% sure what planes are called or anything, but that's definitely what this kind of reminds me of. So I dig it. I think it looks pretty good. He does come with a couple accessories. These little missiles right here peg into the underside. They're just these kind of 3 cluster missile things. Pulling them away is kind of a pain in the butt because it kind of detaches everything else in the process. So I'm going to do that just because why not? Because I'm gonna. And just pull that all the way and make a giant mistake. Oh, that really gets in there. And you can see, yeah, I started pulling everything apart. Now you got some nice Decepticon logos there. Pretty decent panel lines and everything. Like I said, I just wish there was a little bit more splash of a color. And that's even true in his robot mode. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about this guy is he is going to be, there's no question about it. He is going to be eventually repainted into something from the Titans Return line. You can take this cockpit and this whole section, if I can actually do it, this whole section does open up and bringing in my buddy Trigger Happy. Why I'm going to use Trigger Happy, I have no idea. But he can absolutely fit in here perfectly fine. You got that whole same kind of tabbing system right there. So you can close that, and there's no question this is going to be reused for something. Sometimes you look at a figure and you're like, oh, I wonder which one it's going to be. And that's definitely the case with this, because even the head for Nitro Zeus here detaches. It doesn't transform like the little Titemaster figures, but it is there. I mean, that's one aspect. It's kind of like a little floppy thing. It's kind of hangs out just right there. So you do have that little bit here. Look at these accessories. They're just these, like I said, little cluster bombs that you cannot see because holy white Batman. But I'm dropping them right here. But overall, pretty decent looking, good sculpt. Nothing really overly spectacular. You just got white paint and everything. So you do have that. And I mean, I think he's a pretty good size for a Voyager. He works. Bringing in Megatron, you can see that they scale fairly decently together. I do think that he works a little bit better with leader class Megatron. Again, because I like Megatron being bigger and I like everybody else being smaller around him. So that's the scale that I'm going to go for. Now, transformation is definitely not one of my favorites. It's a fiddly kind of mess, and a lot of these different wings pop off very easily when you're doing it, so I'm going to do my best to not make things pop off, especially with the backpack. You'll see what I'm talking about. So first, we're going to loosen this back section up. It tabs in very securely to the back of his little cannon. So just lift this up like that, and you can just fold this off to the side, and then you can hinge that up just like so. And you come around here to these wings. You're going to detach these from the side. They tab down like kind of right around here. This little piece right here kind of slots in, and then there's a little round peg here that slots in right there, and then you got this little longer sort of slot tab that locks in right there. So there's 3 points that it tabs into. Usually it tabs in there fairly decently, but because I took the little missiles off, it ruined everything. Now I'm gonna leave these like this for right now because it does get, like I said, to be a bit of a mess here in a bit. So kind of just leave that like that. If you want to, you kind of hinge these up kind of to get them out of the way a little. Come around here to the side. These detach, they kind of lock in here along the side, and then they also tab on the bottom of the foot right there to that little piece. So loosen this, and that's really a stiff tab, especially right here. It locks in very securely. So rotate these pieces and just kind of hinge these out just like so. Let me angle up some, and then come around here, kind of just bring this out. You can lift this back. This is on the neck and head section is on a separate kind of sort of hinge that just folds back like so, and then leave this whole section just like that. And then this, you can, and then kind of pull that forward. This whole arm piece will come out like that, and then come around to this side. When you bring this down, this is on another hinge, so you want to then hinge this down towards the body, and then this piece here detaches. You got two little tabs that lock things in here, and then this swivels. Just pull this all the way up, and then this comes up right here and sits right along there. So just kind of sit that there, and then swivel that back down, hinge this in, and then you kind of bend it to contour along the body there. So just push that in and lock that together like so. Rotate him here at the hip joint, bring that down. You can then fold the foot out like so, then rotate at the thigh, creating his leg. So again, rotate here at his actual hip, rotate at his thigh, flip the foot out like so. Obviously that part's gonna flop down. You can bring this, then angle these. This is a little bit tricky to know basically how to have this position. So bring that down like that, kind of leave it open like so, where these little kind of rods are along the outer section right here, and then take this whole back section, fold this back, and if you have enough clearance, that will then slot down. It's a little bit tricky to actually get it to do it. So kind of, there we go. Push that down just like that. Then you can bring out the hand on this side, rotate that around like so. These little pieces you're going to fold down. This actually gets a little bit, well, not tricky, but kind of cool to transform. You want to split this. Let's see. Yeah, it splits right down the nose cone. It's a little bit hard for me because I don't have fingernails. So, hey, let's use the little tweezer thingies. So, yeah, well, maybe not. There we go. Split that, and then these pieces are going to swivel out to the side like that, and then you, on this little hinge, kind of bring these up just like so. Then you got these little pieces kind of on the bottom that you can then hinge out, and it's like it creates, I don't even know what it kind of creates. It's like a little hook thing or something, and it's a little bit tricky to get to, but bring it out like that, rotate that around. You can then spin his head around. You may knock that off because, like I said, this is a Titan's Return head thing. So now we come to these back wings, and maybe they'll just do something like this and create like a Starscream or something. I don't know. These I do not like. A lot of times the panels kind of detach, especially this. This has to lift up, and then you bring this piece up inside like that, and then you fold these in on itself. The problem though is this piece right here has to then go over this, but in doing so you have to kind of lift, but it always detaches this. It's like there's not enough clearance right there. Now it just tabs in here, so it's not terribly bad, but it's just kind of annoying. So you just bring that over, and then bring that, like I said, it's tricky to do without popping it off. So, like that. So, I'm just gonna line it up and put it in there. So, it's... That's the most annoying part about this transformation. It just... See? It just... You have to lift it to get it to fit over these pieces. And it, like, lifts... And then... That's frustrating. I'll be honest, Hasbro, you did not do a very good job with this part right here. The rest is pretty decent, but this is just... I'm growling at it. So I'm just going to kind of situate it like that. And then, I mean, you can see how it's supposed to kind of slot in there. And then you take this, and then you bring that up, and then you push that down, kind of locks that into place. So, now let's try it on this side. Lift this up. We're going to rotate this, create a box, and then kind of... I'm trying to go slow. Oh, there we go, got it. Woo. And then, again, you just lock that down. Straighten that. Let's see. Make sure that's all the way down like that. And then you can, like I said, you can just leave this around. And finally, and it's not as difficult as it looks. It's just that backpack is annoying. But when you're done, there you have Nitro Zeus in his really cool looking robot mode. And then to complete his look, you come around here to the back and you take these little missiles and you plug those right on there, just like so. And there you have Nitro Zeus, and I really do love the way that this guy looks. Again, I think colors could really be added to him to really make him pop, but in general, he's a cool looking figure. And he really does. I mean, he's supposed to be a leftover clone of Shockwave, and he does have that look to him. So obviously, we got to do comparisons right off the bat. So here he is. And here's the movie, the best version of Shockwave, and the head is similar, but definitely different, and that's one thing that is a little bit off, because in the movie he did have a head that was very much like this one, but that doesn't mean that Takara won't come around, because as you can see, that just detaches. He doesn't transform or anything, and it is a Shockwave-ish kind of looking head sculpt, and you can see he's got the one eye. You come around, I don't know why he's got light piping, because there's nothing really doing there, but people are going to ask about this, I know, and there is no face actually put on the little peg form right there. I mean, and I understand that they're doing, you know, this cross compatibility with things, and Cogman's head's going to be able to come off and everything. But it just said, what is this figure going to be repainted as? What character are they going to make him? Because clearly they're not going to make him a Titans Return figure without utilizing that functionality more than just swapping heads with Cogman. So again, here's Trigger Happy. So you can take this guy, and the colors are absolutely terrible. They don't match, but you can put that on there, and you could do that. I don't know why you would want to, but you know, you could. And if you wanted to, you can leave this on here, and you can, as you could do with this, with transforming him and leaving the head attached, you can do that with this guy as well, so you don't have to take the head off. Now, obviously, though, I got to put his head back on there. But it is a little bit floppy. As you can see, it is a little wobbly on there, which is a little unfortunate. It's not terribly bad, but I would really appreciate it, like I said, if Takara would come around and give us a head more like this, and I would venture to guess that they are. But you can see a lot of similar elements, you know, like with the torso and everything. So, like I said, I get that he's a clone. He's a little bit different, and I actually like that. You have a very similar looking arm thing here, and honestly, I kind of like this one a little bit better. Not so much these little things that come on. I mean, I don't even remember if he had that in the film, to be honest. A little kind of dagger sort of thing or hook or whatever you want to call it, but he does have a nice molded hand on the inside here. You can see it's actually painted, and that's really nice instead of just being in the same color as the rest of the body. So you do have that. Again, going on with some more comparisons. Here is with the Voyager Megatron, and with the backpack as it is and everything, he does look a little bit bigger than Megatron is. They're roughly the same size though. But honestly, like I said, I like Megatron being bigger. So for me, this is a scale that I think works a little bit better. And of course, here he is with the Deluxe Class Barricade. So you can see the bad guys from the last night are rounding out fairly nicely. Like I said, though, I do wish that there was some more paint detail. The body and everything looks really nice. I like that. I just wish there was some more splashes of color. The black, you got some kind of brownish colors on there. You got numbers and everything. Some nice silver on this arm and such. I mean, the colors are there. I just wish there was a little bit more. One thing that I also did want to mention, and I totally forgot about it, this guy here on the package has a completely different face. I mean, you can see there's like 4 eyes there, and you got these weird horns that come out from the side, and that's definitely not what this guy has, so that's kind of strange, but whatever. For his weapons, though, you have these. Now, you can actually hinge these forward, just like so, and that's what the package kind of goes on. Oh, I forgot to actually tab this up, so that's supposed to be up. I forgot to loop this around. I don't want to do it because it's going to be a pain in the butt. You can bring those up like so, and he can shoot those off of his back, I guess. It's what they say is like his weapon or something, so, you know, it is what it is. You also have this. Now, like I said, you don't necessarily have to leave these up. You can fold these down. They're a little bit tricky to get back in there, so kind of pull that away. Kind of push that in there. You can leave that in there, and it makes it look a little bit more just like Shockwave's kind of arm cannon thingy there. So you can do something like that, which I don't think is all that bad looking either. One thing that also is really cool is this. You don't notice it until you pull this whole thing out like that. You got a big giant cannon here, which, holy cow, that's awesome. Again, really wicked, awesome kind of design on this guy. I mean, that really is evil and cool, and that collapses up in there perfectly fine, and it doesn't hinder the hands at all, which I'm quite impressed with. So, I mean, I would probably say the only thing that I would like to see in this robot mode a little bit more would be some more colors. Now, for his articulation, the head here is on that, you know, Titan Master sort of thing, so you kind of bobble it all over the place. It will pop off if you're not careful, so you can kind of rotate that around and do whatever you want. The shoulders here do rotate on friction joints, and then they move in and out very nicely. These little pieces here can flex. Why you would want to, I don't know. I showed you can rotate these around. You can rotate them up at the upper part of the bicep. Bends here at the elbow. I guess you could kind of say he's got wrist articulation. Nothing at the waist. It's all locked together in one piece. You got some nice joints here moving in and out, but do be careful, as you can see right there. When you do move it out, it can separate the little tabbing thing right there. So just be aware. You got to make that stay in there really nice and secure. So you do have that. He does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He bends here at the knee, and then I actually like how you got this whole separate piece right here that kind of bends along with it. That's actually kind of cool. I dig that. So you do get that full range of motion there. Nothing at the ankles in terms of tilt, but you can move it forward and back. So he's kind of already got his legs or his ankles bent a little bit so that you can have a wider pose, but that's really about it. I mean, otherwise it's just gonna kind of flop up there. So a solid toy. He definitely has issues, and he's fiddly, especially in the transformation. But in terms of his overall look here in robot mode, I dig him immensely. To transform him back, we're going to come around here. We're going to take this. If you didn't tuck those little pieces up, you're going to want to do that now. Rotate these around and close that around the actual hand and just kind of leave it kind of dangle right there. That's perfectly fine. Come around here to this section, fold that up. If you had his little giant cannon, I shouldn't say little, but his giant cannon, if you had that extended, go ahead and tuck that up just like so, kind of leave it right like that. Rotate his head around like so, and then kind of grab right here, use your fingers and pull this forward just like that. You can then take this section here, and this whole bit is going to hinge inside. Make sure that's all the way up, hinge this down, and this collapses kind of in on itself, and it's a little bit tricky to do. I'll pull this away as well. Let's get that moved out like so. Bring this down, and you're going to want to line that up here in a bit. Now, to get everything all collapsed in, pull this out, fold this forward, and then you can bring this all the way down just like that, and kind of leave that like so. That will give you a little bit more clearance here, and see, the head pops off easily. You then just take this, and then again, you want to fold this all the way down so it's gonna sort of sit right there. If you had the head detached, you pop that back in there. Like I said, it doesn't really stay locked in there all that great. So there are issues in general with I had it rotated, with some of the, I don't want to say quality control, just some of the tolerances. It feels like it's not as refined as I think it should be. So you have this little gap now, like right there, that you will then take this and hinge that forward and put his head kind of in. It doesn't tab in, it doesn't lock in, it just kind of like rests there. So again, then come around here and that move it now all over the place. Then this piece right here, you have this, you can then rotate this around, and then this is going to hinge up. Again, get this kind of out of the way, and you got little tabs right here that are going to lock in on the sides of the jet, collapse all the way in, and lock that into place like so. And come around here to these little wings, and they're going to annoy me. I know it. I know it's going to happen. I'll go ahead and take these bits off, set that off on the side. Let's see, how can I do this without breaking? So lift that a little and pull that there. Oh, look at that, it actually didn't completely fall off. And then take that, put that there, and then you can fold this out and just hinge that up, just get that out of the way. Let's see if we can do that on this side. Pull this away and then lift that, and ooh, look at that. It's so very, very limited in terms of the clearance there that odds are it's going to pop off at some point in time. So just be careful when you're doing it. Detach that, rotate that back like so, and then come around here to these legs, and these are a little bit tricky to get lined up properly because they kind of just like sit like along the side here. So then fold these back, rotate here, and then fold this back. Oh, sorry, rotate the thigh, there we go, and then keep that like that, and then you fold that up along the body. So rotate them around, then rotate here at the thigh, fold this, and like I said, this part can be a little bit tricky to get pushed in there. First you kind of want to line this up, bringing this back and down, get that down. So you got little tabs here in here that slot into the feet, so you kind of want to line those up first. That part is a little bit tricky to do. Just kind of line that up like that, and then come around here looking on the underside, and you want to make sure you push all that in along the side. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Do that on this side as well. Let's see if I can do it the same on that side. Tab the foot into this back thruster section, and yeah, see that part, you do have to really, like this piece right here, get that kind of out of the way. So this piece, what fell? Oh, nothing fell. This piece right here has to kind of go over this, so you want to push that in there like that, and then find this little toe section and slot that in, and there you go, and give that a good squeeze and push everything together. And then let me see how the bottom looks. Everything is compressed in there fairly decently, but it requires some finesse. There is some fiddle involved in it. Rotate these down, rotate these down. As I talked about, you got 3 different points right here. You got a little long slot up here, you got a little peg hole that lines up here, and then you got a back section. So just bring that down, and everything roughly is going to line up. You just kind of have to look there and there and there, and then bring that up and push that down, and there's one wing. And then it is designed to kind of like swoop down. I think that's just the style of the jet, honestly. So bring that there. What do we got? Okay, so that, the little round, and then the little square. Squeeze all that. Perfect. Fold this out like that. I guess if you wanted to, you can leave this extended out and have like a really long jet thing, but that's weird, so let's put that away. And then this, you have a little tiny slot right up here that little nub is gonna lock into. So just kind of find that and give that a push. Come around here to the underside. You can put these little missiles on the underside here. It's a little tricky again because you don't want to detach everything, so put that there. Come around here, put that there, and that feels like, yeah, that detached a little bit. So make sure that stays locked in as best as possible. And when you're done, there you have Decepticon Nitro, otherwise known as Nitro Zeus, back in his jet mode. Overall, though, a fun figure, but the transformation is not really the best. Things have to line up perfectly, and as you can see, there is some fiddliness to them. Jet mode here, though, I do like. I don't think there's a lot that you can do to get away from the undercarriage. A lot of transforming jets have that. So for what it is, I think it's okay. But I think that robot mode really is the selling point on this. The only drawback in terms of the look, both in jet and robot mode, would probably be the lack of paint applications. They're not bad here, but they could be a lot better. But it is that robot mode that I really think shines the most here. There are some aspects about the figure that I don't particularly like. However, in general, I do really enjoy them. And if you can get over the way that backpack works, I would absolutely recommend picking this guy up. So, all that being said, if Decepticon Nitro is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he will be hitting various retail locations fairly soon. So if you're looking for him, good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformers The Last Knight figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way towards helping me out, and I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. It's free, and you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, do me a real quick favor and click on that bell right below this video, and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, till all are one.